So hello everyone, another little video here, perhaps more pertinent than ever. Obviously now we've had an extended lockdown and we've got more weeks to go. So it might be easy to think that, well, okay, we've got it sussed now, we know what we're doing. But if you haven't established some key habits and patterns by now, you could say, well, it's a bit late now to be thinking about this, but I want to make sure that people are still doing the things that are designed to help them. The inspiration for this is taken from an article, yet another article from New Scientist, about taking care of your mental well-being at this time. And this isn't just any old rubbish that somebody's dreamt up. They spoke to specific psychologists who deal with things like quarantining and so on, about the key habits you should have in order to keep yourself mentally well in this difficult time. So I'm going to go through these 10 points just briefly, but if you're not doing all of these, try to sort of instigate them. 1, have regular rhythms for both your waking, your eating, your sleeping and so on. So have regular patterns. Try to get up at the same time every day. You might have a bit of a laying on a Sunday morning, who knows. But try and have regular times to get up. Make sure that you shower or clean yourself every day, and make sure that you eat regularly at the right sort of times. Don't eat at sort of 11 o'clock at night, and also that you go to bed at a reasonable time and with some sort of regularity. Secondly, have a project that you're working on. By now you should probably, if you're going to do it, you've probably already done it. But for example, for some people, quite a lot of people, it's work, and so they're getting into a new rhythm, if you like, of their working from home. The other thing is, people at the outset say, oh, I'm going to read these books and so on. If you are planning on doing that, get yourself into a regular pattern and commit yourself, well, I'm going to read this, I'm going to get that read, and reward yourself if you manage to achieve the goals you've set. And it may be a fitness program, it might be some project, if you like, that you're working on, like to do with your health and your fitness. So you're out running and or whatever. Although in this weather, running's not quite so much fun, is it? So having a project to work on is important. Talking of that, even if you're not making sort of getting super fit your new project, exercise regularly. And if you haven't done so already, it's not just about cardiovascular exercise. Have regular exercise that involves strength training, whether it be push-ups or pull-ups or working with resistance weights. And there's a video on Norwich Spinal Health in Essence on here, so do have a look at that. Bronwyn's explained it really, really well. Fourth thing, limit your media exposure, especially the speculative stuff. People saying, oh, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. A lot of times these people really don't know, they're just guessing, and some of this speculation can be quite negative, and it can tend to make you feel quite down. So do watch what you're doing in terms of that. Make sure you find a time for activities that calm you and relax you. Bizarrely enough, in all this time, it can be quite, well, it is very stressful, and it can be quite anxiety making. There's this sort of myth that we've all got so much time and we're all putting our feet up and taking advantage of the lovely spring. But sometimes it's far from that. You've got kids to deal with and so on. So make time for you, that you do something that you find restful. I'll talk about that a bit more in a moment. I mentioned social media already, but avoid the mindless scrolling. It's so easy to do. You go onto Facebook and you're there and it's like, avoid that. Set yourself a time limit on social media and know exactly what you're going on for. If it's to connect with people, family, or a group that you belong to, fine. But don't just sort of go on it to kill time. And whatever you do, don't share fake news. Fake news, China, oh, don't get me started. But yes, watch what you share. Be responsible. If you are in lockdown with family or partner or anything, work with them as a team. Plan your room usage so that you're not getting under each other's feet. So, this is my time, I have this room to myself, or, this is, this is family time or whatever. Plan that out, that helps as well. And talking of relationships, be open and be vulnerable and approachable. We're all doing the best that we can. As I've sort of touched on already, don't share panic. Particularly if you do have children with you, showing panic is really one of the worst things you can do for them. So try to get the information across to kids, answer their questions as responsibly as you can, and put concepts into things into words that they understand, concepts that kids get. That's another piece of advice that these experts came up with. Number 9, understand that this will be organic. It is going to sort of evolve, and I quote New Scientist here. This is not me, excuse language, and it probably will go tits up at some time or another, so just be prepared for that. This is New Scientist, you know. Anyway, right. So, and be easy on yourself. If you do lose your temper, or you snap at somebody, do remember, you're only human, so be easy on yourself. And lastly, this is number 10. I sneaked this in. There were 9 key expert advice points. Number 10 is my one. Use music to calm yourself. Now, it's unlikely to be Slipknot, Motorhead or something like that, but find music that calms you, because it really does create a mood and an atmosphere for you. So find music that calms you. It may be classical chill out number 4, or it might be just ambient chill out, or Ibiza chill out or something, or it might be spacey music, as it is for me. So find something that you like that chills you out. Might be Spanish guitar playing, I don't know. Put a list of some of my favourites up there that you can search for on the iTunes store or on Apple Music, and have a listen. But those are the 10 points that I would strongly recommend you do to keep hold of your sanity. It's a bit of a longer video than normal, but once again, stay safe, look after yourselves, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the practice in the very near future. Thanks a lot.